Hello and welcome to the Navy Blue Corner. I'm Ian, joined as always by my good mate Lockie. And unfortunately, the Blues are still bad. Not much has changed on that front. Honestly, these podcasts, they're getting harder and harder to record each and every week, mainly because it's just the same thing that we are seeing week after week. But we will be powering on like we always do. Lockie, mate, how are you? And how are you handling everything Blues related right now?
Mate, we're going to bring the energy for the podcast as we always do. How am I handling everything right now? That's good. A little moment of reflection. A bit of distance. A little bit of distance is good. I'm trying not to let Carlton consume my week, but every game day I'm filled with optimism. And I will be again this week.
Yeah, see, I don't feel like I'm getting the optimism before the game. I've almost expected the result as it happens and it kind of plays out. I'm just kind of miserable the whole time. So, yeah, not a fun time to be me and how I support the club. But we move on. I will say, though, speaking of optimism, were you like myself where it's almost quarter time, the siren has sounded, Big Pitto's just launched one in from about 90 meters out, and you're thinking, oh my God, I know I've just seen another really bad quarter from Carlton. I know that nothing is going to change, but could this be the turning point? Because I got sucked in. I absolutely thought that would have been the thing that gets them up and about.
This is the catalyst for the entire season turning. It's the Kerno camp of 2025. Yeah. Yep. I love that from you.
I just thought if anything does, it's a Pitto goal from the car park, surely. But no, it did not happen. However, yes, we will jump in and immediately recap a bit of the lines before we go into a bit of a D's preview and just talk everything Carlton right now. What were kind of your key takeaways from the loss and what you're seeing right now? Because as I said at the top of this episode, everything is kind of the same. We seem to be trying the same things. We're getting the same result. We able to take away anything specific from this or any different kind of points of view?
I'm not going to try and pretend and sell to you that there was anything new for me in this one. Like, that's not to say that there weren't things that I'm still optimistic about and negative about. It depends what avenues you want to talk about here, but I'm excited by some of the youngsters and I want us to keep persisting with some of them this season. So this was just a little bit more evidence for some of those guys that we can talk about. I don't know. You feeling negative or positive?
I have no positive, so I feel like we need to start with something positive right now. So yeah, what were those positives for you?
None of them played fantastic stellar games where they're going to be winning rising stars for the round or anything like that. But I feel positive for the future with Cowan, O'Farrell, Carroll. I'm saying it on the list. These are guys that I feel like are going to be part of a good Carlton team in a few years.
No, I really liked all their games. To a degree, Carroll didn't have the best game, but we'll get to that and we will discuss whether it was his fault or whether maybe there's a bit more to his poor performance. But I still feel confident in what he brings and his ability to back it up and keep going and almost not let those mistakes bother him. There's definitely enough to like from those kids. It's probably the frustrating thing right now where those that are maybe playing well or getting you excited by what they're doing are the young ones, and it's not the experienced that you should be trusting that are performing. And it's probably part of the big issue. I think one of my key takeaways, or at least an evolving point of view from me, is again around our disposal and I guess turnovers. I'm not starting to get annoyed at that we are turning the ball over because it's very obvious that's what happens. We do that quite a lot now. My issue is just we concede far too easily from every single turnover. There just seems to be such a lack of disciplined structure around everything from defense and the way we're attempting to move the ball. That one slightly missed handball kick, slight fumble, everything just capitulates. It turns to mush, and we just, like, I get it. Our skills are bad. We're turning the ball over a lot, but it shouldn't be this cataclysmic every single time we turn it over. How have you kind of seen that conceding from every single mistake.
Yeah. This was a big one for me too that we're seeing every week, and it was obvious here. We mentioned it briefly before we started recording that the thing that I understand the least about it is like, I mean, you're at the game, so you probably know it better than anyone watching on the broadcast. But where are the players in these times? Because so often we're going forward and we're being outnumbered inside 50. So then you must think, okay, well, that's because these players are ready to defend a turnover. But alas, they also don't seem to be there either. The other thing that I struggle with the turnover aspect is how often it's a quality few possessions or a quality build up that just is let down. Like those, I mean, it drives us crazy these times where it's a handball that's just a little bit off and we have numbers. And just that handball being a little bit off turns to the turnover, and then there's nothing we can do. And you just know that as soon as it's turned over, that they're going to score from it. How it's yeah, but there's no answers from me here.
Oh, I'm not expecting the answers, and I think that's the biggest frustration out of this is we can't arrest the momentum back anytime we turn it over. And some of them they seem so innocuous, like you're saying. It's just missed the target, and somehow we can't keep that going positively for us. I mean, you look at Brisbane and they'd turn the ball over, they'd get it back, they would find a way to almost press harder once they've lost possession. Everything just seems to be returned in a goal or a shot on goal as soon as we make any kind of mistake. And then you think, is that why we are making more mistakes? Because when we are moving the football, we know we're one slight missed handball away from just conceding a goal. And now there's more pressure on everything. It's bizarre. And like you said, where are we? It feels like we're always just in the worst possible spot across the ground. We don't have options laterally. There's no options as an outlet in front of the ball carrier. And then as soon as we lose it, there's no one in the right spots to defend the turnover. It's just everything feels like a complete shambles. The connection, the confidence.
Yeah.
There's honestly there's not one good thing really happening right now, which is just not fun.
I was going to make that exact point. Like you could literally pick anything from this last month and be like, that could be the biggest thing. Like we spoke about the set shots and just like the goal kicking, like that is never going well. Like we're never just like, oh, at least we kicked really well in this game and like converted really well. That's not happening. The leaders aren't leading enough. Pick whatever you want to kind of talk about. It's the same every week.
The set shots are very frustrating because we're not creating a lot of opportunities, which I understand probably builds the pressure on having to execute them. But like, not to pot one bloke, just the example, but like you look at the Jesse Motlop miss, that's a standard goal every single week. Kicks that, we're only a couple goals down, game is on. All of a sudden it swings and we're down by 5-6 goals within a few minutes. And that's just how quickly it turns for us. And it's just evident why we need to convert these chances. And if you're playing some bad footy, but as soon as that siren goes, you think, well, we kicked 6 goals, 3, at least we converted what we got, but clearly we just need to find a way to get more, but it's not even that. And we're not helping a guy like Charlie Curnow right now, who's clearly, he's either just doesn't have the confidence, doesn't want to be there, who knows what it is, but we're not giving him great looks at goal either. So when he is having these shots, knowing there's a bit more pressure, he's kicked like 0 goals, 9 or something in the last couple of weeks. And then probably in his head then thinking, well, great, now I've got one from 60 out on an angle. Well, that's going to make me 0 and 10. Thanks, boys. We can't just give him one at the top of the goal square. We just can't seem to create those obvious chances, which, as we said, just nothing's working.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Moya's another one where I'm looking at him and I'm like, okay, there could be something here. And I hope that we kind of see him playing in the team for the rest of the season. Brother, you just got to take those chances. We're just not going to be competitive against top 4 teams. And credit to Brisbane. You have to say, like, they came with the pressure. They could have kicked away bigger score too if they took their chances. So it's not like we were playing a poor opposition. So you take that into account. But these simple things that just week after week we're talking about them. No confidence on a set shot.
And I think another element of this that kind of shows you more where the problems lie is right now our problem isn't winning the footy. We're getting plenty of it. It seems to really just be the system and how we're looking to move the ball that is that clear bigger issue. Just a few stats I saw were that we had 12 more hitouts to advantage, 8 more clearances, 31 more contested possessions, 26 more ground ball gets, 4 more marks inside 50. That all looks pretty good. Getting hands on the ball first, getting some territory. We just can't turn that into anything right now. So I think there's an element of this that could be, I guess, a little bit more positive in, well, at least we're winning the football. We have the chance to create something. So as far as I say everything's going wrong, there's something going right at the start of it. And winning the ball can sometimes be one of the more difficult aspects. Clearly, it's just the way in which we are attempting to move the ball, the lack of options everywhere on field. And then conversely, you look at Brisbane and every time they win possession, it just feels so structured, so regimented, where every player knows where they need to be. They have so many different outlets and options in every single angle. And if they run themselves into trouble, they seem to always have that extra man right where they need them to be as the outlet. We just don't have that. And I think there was a few plays that I really noticed that kind of highlighted just how bad we are right now. Was Brisbane won the ball sort of D50, just on the edge of it, sort of around the flank, looking to go sort of corridor, but there's about 5 or 6 Brisbane players in the middle of the ground. They just sprinted to the boundary, took their man with them. All of a sudden, there's just a massive now gap in the corridor. Brisbane, the next wave of Brisbane players came through, and it was just so systematic of, this is how we want to move. We're moving in waves. We've got everyone on the same length and it's working. And it was just such a basic thing that they did that we just couldn't defend. And then when we get the ball, we can't seem to be able to manufacture these things. I think it kind of sums up just how structurally poor we are from top to bottom.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to go from that because there's so many different elements you could mention. I guess, where do I want to go? I feel like the midfield mix could be an interesting thing to mention. Like, that's something that we're seeing them persist with over the past few weeks. Williams moving in there, Motlop showing some things, Moya even getting a chance in there. Like, I think that could be looked at as a takeaway, in that it feels like a midfield with Pitto, Cripps, Hewitt, and Chera being like the 4 main guys is just not the future for me. Like, it's just, how many times do we have to see that is not dynamic enough in 2025 to work for us? So I really hope that we continue to experiment there.
Do you think, because from that, I would definitely say you can't have Cripps and Hewitt in the same centre bounce. It just feels like they're way too similar. You can't have that. Would you be saying you can only have one of those 3 at all times, or is Chera allowed to be with one and then you bring in a player like Zach Williams? Where do you kind of see that dynamic mix?
It's really hard. I'm so down on Chera at the moment. I just don't understand where he kind of fits into the midfield. Like, it's a really good question. I think at some stoppages you could have Hewitt and Cripps there together. It's just the fact that they're the 2 main guys throughout the whole season. It's just not going to work going forward. It's just so much different when you see the runners in there. And I feel like having Pitto kind of exacerbates it even more. Even though I'm liking Pitto and I want us to keep going with this, it kind of makes it even worse because we saw that TDK can be kind of that extra dynamic mid.
Oh, 100%. Do you think we should be experimenting more with having Cripps down forward? He clearly struggling with something in this midfield at the moment. He went from his best season he's ever had, winning a Brownlow, record numbers, to having one of his probably least impactful years by far. Knowing he's not at his best, the midfield isn't at its best. We don't have Harry. We clearly need an extra target because Charlie keeps marking it about 50 out and there's no one to kick to. Are you surprised they haven't tried more of a Cripps deep forward
I
and
am surprised.
changed everything else around it?
I am surprised. Yeah. I think it's really the only lever that can be pulled because it's not going to be Hewitt, is it? At this stage.
It feels like such an obvious thing and it baffles me we haven't tried it.
It'd be interesting to know why behind the scenes that is. Maybe that's not what Cripple wants.
I think at that stage, mate, it's a team game. We need you to do whatever I'm asking of you. But yeah, so much of it feels strange. At least I agree with you. I'd like that they are trying something different in there because clearly this season we're not going to get anything valuable out of it, ladder position wise. We might not get much out of it if we do move on all of our coaches as far as what we're building towards with system and all of that. But if we can get more of a look at what Williams looks like in the midfield, can he consistently do that and perform? Motlop, we've seen in small spurts it work really well. We've seen it work really badly, but it's probably worth persisting. Like, what's the loss in this if we try it for the next, 5-6 weeks? I just don't see a downside of it.
Exactly, and I don't think it can be Williams long term. It's that kind of player. It as much as I'm absolutely loving him at the moment, any week feels like the week that he'll do an injury, sadly, or an injury that means he's going to miss time. He's just at such a fragile stage.
No, 100% agree. And look, it's not something new, but it was something I've really noticed again in this game that I just wanted to highlight. It's been a long time frustration on this podcast, but our inability to create any meaningful advantage or just anything from kick-ins. Lockie.
Kick-ins.
I reckon literally get anyone. Go down the street, grab 5 fellas on the side of the road.
Oh, God.
Chuck them in a room. Give me a kick-in routine. Give me a kick-in routine. I'm sure it'd be better than what we get because there was a moment where Brisbane got their run on. The lead started to increase for the Lions. We needed to wrestle back momentum. They're peppering shots. We need to just get that footy in our hands and start to create something. Get some momentum back. And every single time Brisbane kicked a point, it was play onto the right, long down the line, to create a stoppage, to try and get a contested mark. And it just didn't work out for us. And you'd think after trying it for 4 years, you'd maybe try something different. You'd think in-game after like the 6th time you've done it and got an awful result, you would try something else. But I don't really get the idea of it where we're either hoping like Pito or De Koning take mark of the year, or it's, okay, we'll reset and win a stoppage when we've got the ball in our hands. We don't need to create a stoppage. That part of it just seems really strange to me. Other teams seem to be able to manufacture space everywhere from kick-ins. It's like the easiest way to move the football. We just haven't really ever figured that out.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you what the strategy is. I think I can't remember if it led to a point or a goal, so you can remind me. But the one where it must have been the first one, where Gov miskicked it, and it led to a score on the rebound. It was to a lead kind of in space. And it just felt like the chances of us marking this is so low. Like the chances that this goes back to them on the ground and straight back inside 50 just felt so high. So I would just love to understand what the strategy actually is. What's the best case scenario from our kick-ins?
And it was really funny. There was a moment, I believe we kicked a goal from it. It definitely started a bit of a launch. We finally went down the middle and balls brought to ground and then we just took off. But the issue was that was the worst time to go down the middle and somehow it had no right to work, but it did. And now you're thinking, oh no, they're going to keep trying this. But like that just wasn't the right option at that time. It just somehow fell into our lap. But even then you're thinking, now is the only time you can't go down the middle because there's one Carlton player V4 and that's the time we went to do it. It just feels like nothing we're attempting is just the correct option.
Yeah.
It worked in spite of itself. It was hilarious.
Or do you want to talk about a couple of specifics? Because I have a couple of specific things.
I've got one little more specific one, and
Go
then
on.
I'll let you have the floor. I feel like I'm in big rant mode, which we
No,
love
this
to
is good.
see.
This is good. This
Because
is
I've just
healthy.
got one issue that sums up all of our problems for me, particularly with coaching, with match committee, with all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Our inability to settle Mitch McGovern into a role, into a position for
Yeah.
4 quarters of footy. Every week his role changes from forward to back, from forward to back, in
Yeah.
game, situationally. Every 5 minutes, we're reacting to something, and poor Gov just has to be thrown around and, hey, figure it out and solve it for us. And it's hurting his game. It's hurting everything. It's haphazard, reactive. It's panic. Clearly, they either don't know how to fix it. They don't know what they want. They don't know what works. I don't. I think it's fine to have the option
Mm.
if, okay, the idea is this, but worst case, we can switch him. But it just feels like every 2 seconds, we're just trying something new and hoping it might work. And I think that for me is just a clear example of everything going wrong right now. Our planning isn't well, the execution isn't good, and then we try to change it up and we keep doing the wrong things around it. It's just an absolute disaster. And I think that really summed it up for me.
Yeah, it's definitely not working for him. He just doesn't seem like the kind of player either that would be like that. You saw it, like Hawthorn were kind of in a period of doing that with Sicily as well, and it just doesn't seemingly give you the right results when a player's that unsettled. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, and I just didn't feel like we needed to throw Gov back. It's almost this thing at the moment that's been there for a while of maybe we concede a few goals. Let's go really defensive rather than attack,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden we finally win the ball and we've got no one forward because Gov's now in defense. So it doesn't seem to actually help us. It just causes another problem down the line. And yeah, that's probably one of my big frustrations. What are your more sort of specific takeaways from this game?
I mean, I'm interested to know your opinion on like Chincotta and that role
Mm,
because we like at least I have such fond memories of like his tagging era a couple years ago and the impact that he was having. And I watch him specifically on the replay, and I just don't really understand it. Like it's
mm,
not tagging in the sense of like he's just was running with next to McCluggage no matter where he goes. Like he was still giving him space to have impact, but having zero offensive impact for us. Like it just feels like something to me that just has to be binned for the rest of
mm.
the season.
I agree with you. It's another one of those levers that I don't like. We keep going towards it. I'd almost Chincotta be injured so we don't do it. You know what I mean? It's like as soon as these kind of players are available, we do this. We start to concede a few goals. Oh, we'll swing. Oh yeah, we've got you, Mitch McGovern. You're a defender. We can do this now. Oh, what's that? I've got a guy who can tag. Let's pull that lever. These are bad levers to pull. Stop doing them. Let's be offensive in what we're doing. Everything's just dour, negative, and not working for us. And yeah, Chincotta, it's not helping his game. I wonder, to play devil's advocate on him, whether it's a
Yep.
component of it is fitness. He misses quite a lot of the year, doesn't get that preseason. Does that just make it harder for a guy who hasn't really played a midfield tagging role for a long period in his career at all? But
Yeah.
it just does not seem to be really helping us. Yeah, McCluggage might not have had that much of an impact, but you've just taken a player out for you who could have made an impact. So no one really wins.
The I know that some people are really down on the general idea of tagging, and I'm not so far that way. Like I still think that it can be an impactful tactic. I'm more just down on the way that we're doing it and the
Mm,
way that like not I'm not throwing him under the I'm not meaning to throw him under the bus, but just the actual outcomes that are coming from him. Like if you do it in a way that there's a player on the opposition team that is just so important to their structure, and you can disrupt that with one of your players.
mm,
Like to me, that's that's a great thing. But the way that we're doing it, of like, don't mean to like bring up old wounds, but like having Caleb Daniel tagged.
Yeah.
You watch North Melbourne, and to me, he is just not important to their structure. Yes, he gets a lot of disposals, but if they're not going to him, like not an actual bother. And so for a team like Brisbane, where in any given week, yes, McCluggage is having his best season, but in any given week, it'll be Ashcroft or it'll be Dunkley or it'll be Neil or Rayner that is the really impactful one. Doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, I don't know. That's my worry.
I totally agree with you. I don't love the tag, but I don't mind it if it's, I don't know, third quarter and Isaac Heaney starts to get on top and you just go, we need to clamp this guy down right now. He's dominating everything like he always does against us. Chincotta, you play your role now. Let's try and get something back. That's the time of period I quite like it. And the way we're doing it now isn't even that for 4 quarters. So I agree with you. It feels like it's only hurting us more than it's hurting the opposition. It's a bizarre thing. And I feel like I thought Chincotta would be perfect again in this type of game with so many good, small, medium-sized forwards for Brisbane to play that role and just shut down a small. But evidently we don't try to ever do that. Like, I don't know, like trying to get out a Rayner or a Zach Bailey at times would almost be more effective because of how well they are as those conduit type players than one of the 30,000 gun midfielders that Brisbane have that it does not matter. Another one will just step up.
So I don't know if this is something I need to reflect on more, but maybe it's just the changing landscape in that teams are less likely to have such a reliance on certain individuals. Like it felt like a couple of years ago, you look at every team and they had like a halfback that was like the guy, and we're going to give it to him at all times. And therefore, if you can take that guy out, massively disrupt everything. But as I'm looking through, the ladder at the moment and thinking about these teams, it's less obvious. Like Zorko is an example of someone that teams do tag, but they have other options of who can play that role. Like if you're going to tag someone on Carlton, why would you do that? Like there isn't somebody that's so impactful, I think, to the system.
I feel like it was to a little bit of Sam Walsh because he was like the only one we have that plays that kind of role. And teams went, oh, if we stop him, Carlton actually don't have anything else because he is the only one. But I agree with you to an extent of what you're trying to say there. And I feel like clubs have gotten smarter as well. They almost know a certain player might get tagged. So it's like, okay, instead of you trying to maybe outplay the tag and we still go through you, we'll just use you as a decoy the whole time then. We'll switch up your role so it works still for us. We've just taken a player out of the game for them.
Exactly.
Which I think helps negate the tag. But yeah, just a frustrating thing we're attempting to do. Right?
And the last thing on that, I know I didn't expect to talk this long about tagging, but watching other teams do it and they'll have their tagger have offensive impact. And it felt like when Chincotta was doing that best, that's what it was like. But right now, it's so nothing. He's not he's not there as an option, nor is he actually clamping anyone. So I hope that we get rid of that this week.
No, 100% agree. Did you have any other specifics, Lockie?
I've got one that I'll save for our little segment later on forward structure and TDK. But no, nothing else at the moment.
Beautiful. Well, I do want to ask you a question on Matt Carroll. We spoke about it very early on. He obviously concedes 2 goals from 2 holding the ball decisions within about a minute of them happening. A lot of Carlton fans not happy, got on his back about it. Where do you kind of sit on this as far as young player should be criticised for kind of turning the momentum in the game, or is there more to it than just him making these mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there is more to it. It's very easy to look at just what we're seeing on the broadcast, and it looked like in the first instant he took a little bit too long, and then in the second one he took way too long. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's obvious to suggest that we need to understand what options there were up the ground. And then he's damned if he does or doesn't, because if he just slams it on his boot and kicks it straight to one of their players on the 50, or kicks it out of bounds on the full, or doesn't have sufficient intent, what can he do? But you can say it both ways. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have any blame and that it's all on everybody else, because he does need to have better awareness, especially in the second one. But I don't know, if they drop Carroll this week, that would I will be sickened, honestly.
That was my big concern. I was so worried they were going to sub him, and I was like, "You're going to destroy him if you do that." Like, yeah, he's made mistakes. He needs to be better. You can't think that you have that much time, seconds after being caught holding the ball for the same thing and doing it much worse the second time round. But my take is that I just feel so bad for Carroll, because where's the voice from his teammates? Where are any leaders down in that back line instructing a young player on what to do, telling him he's got a player, telling him, don't worry about the options, just get it out right now. Now's the time to go. Where are those triggers from players around? Why is there no structure that this man has no outlets? He has no options, particularly in the second one. You can almost see it in his eyes. He's like, looks at the first option, not on. Looks at the second, no one's there. No one. Shit, let's go back to the first option. And he just, at some stage, yes, he probably needs to recognize, I just need to get rid of this ball, put it to the spot that we've spoken about, wide to the boundary, and let's reset. But I care way more about where's the voice, where's the leadership, and why is there no structure? Like, no wonder he's holding onto the ball for so long when there is just nothing. Everything should fall back to, it's almost like NFL. Quarterbacks have certain reads for certain plays. They know, this is my first read. If that's not on, I've got the next one. I've got the next one. And then there should always be like the safety net option of, if the whole play's blown up, I should have something here to go with. We don't seem to have any of that, particularly that last handball out the back to the player to just relieve things for 2 seconds. It baffles me that we don't seem to have this anywhere. And then we absolutely kill a kid because of this. And there was another moment as well that killed me, when I think Doherty did an amazing spoil in the middle of the ground. Great defensive effort. The ball's then bouncing to Carroll. There's about 4 Carlton players around him, 1 Brisbane player. No Carlton player lays a block. No one does anything but sag off. And now all of a sudden, Carroll's under pressure because it's like 1-on-1 again. He's panicked. He fumbles. Turnover. I believe Rayner kicks a goal out of it. And you're thinking, boys, just talk, support. If just one bloke literally just takes out the Brisbane player, puts on a Shepherd, another one creates an option for him. Instead, it was just the seas parted, and it was like, here you go, kid. Let's have another failure, and we'll just destroy your career. Sorry, mate. Who cares?
Add the blocks and Shepherds to the list of things that are baffling me. There was so many times in this game where we'd have a 2-on-1, and it's just kind of like one of them knows that they should be shepherding here, and they'll do like a half shepherd, and it will still end up in either a turnover or it being evened out. Like, I just don't get that. And I liked your point around, like, in the second Carroll incident, like the relieving handball at the back. The one that I hate in watching the replay is Haynes is that guy, and he's yelling for the ball, and he is sprinting past back into the traffic. So, like, if Carroll gives that handball to him, the one player that is calling for the ball, because Doherty and Chera are running past, they're not calling for it. He's running back into the corridor where all the players are. So how can that? Is that actually the strategy for us in this situation? I can't imagine it being.
Baffling.
Bloody hell.
It's baffling. I'm happy to put this game pretty much in the rearview mirror if you want to jump straight to votes, Lockie.
Yep.
Which is very tough. The 3-2-1, those who haven't listened or watched this podcast a lot, we do a bit differently here with the votes. 3 is best on ground. 2 votes is to the player that went above their role or what we expect of them. Something a little bit different to make the 3 votes really worth you winning that 3. And then 1 vote is just any player for any reason. Lockie, you're 3, 2, and 1.
Yeah, you go first. I always go first.
Okay, let's put it back on me. We'll happily do it. I gave my one vote to George Hewitt. He did some wrong, but I thought all the way till the end of the game, he was the one running the hardest, trying the hardest to try and get anything going. And I appreciate that a lot. He's probably been our best midfielder by far this season.
No doubt.
Two votes I gave to a man who a lot of Carlton supporters don't like. They probably won't like me giving him votes, but I thought he was one of our best until going off injured. It is Orazio Fantasia. He's actually having a really good season. He's been our best small, mid-sized player around. Anytime he gets the ball, something good tends to happen. He's one of our most creative right now in such a dull team. And I just thought he really deserves some appreciation and some votes here because he's one of the only guys trying to make something happen, and he seems to make it happen as well. And then my 3 votes goes to a man who has given me probably the only smile I've had on my face this entire season. He's come in when the man whose job it was that he has taken, there's a lot of conjecture around him. He's playing some poor footy, and this man's just come in and said, I'm actually a good ruckman. Remember me. And then he's bombing him in from about 130 meters out and having a bit of fun. We love Big Brad on this podcast, so Pitternet gets my 3.
Big Brad. Nice one, mate. We've got the same 3 players, different order. I went 3 for Hewitt, 2 for Pitto, and 1 for the Raz.
I like it. I think that works really well. I will say, I said we'll put this game in the rearview mirror, but I need a quick rant on something.
Go on.
Because
Marvel Stadium. No.
Well, Marvel Stadium always tends to do it for me, and that's almost like a Patreon exclusive of what Marvel did to me this week. They took my fork, they took my cutlery from my lunch, but that's a whole nother story. I'm going the club this time, Lockie, because like I've gone them for similar previously, and I'm aware that what I'm about to say is potentially the biggest overreach of all time, but it infuriated me, so I need to say it, and I hope maybe someone agrees with my ridiculous hot take. But the club is so dumb, and this is symptomatic of all the wider issues on and off the ground right now. I'm
nervous.
We do the worst entertainment, I reckon, in the league.
Yeah.
From start to finish. And they've been doing this thing for quite some time, and it just, at what stage do you go, hey, let's not do this. This isn't working. 3/4 time, Lockie. I'm sitting in my seat, contemplating going home because it's a Thursday night. I've got work early. I'm sick of going to games and watching Carlton right now. It's not giving me joy. You know what it's time for? A bit of karaoke, Lockie. Let's all have a sing. Let's all have a dance. They do this every week. Like, one, not good entertainment already. A bit of karaoke is not great. It's also not great when it's the same 3 songs every week for like the last 3 years. So once you've done 3 weeks, I'm sure you could name me the 3 songs it normally is, and you'd get them right.
But, well, I haven't been to a game this season, but is Taylor Swift one of them? Is one?
Oh, she's still there. Oh, yeah. I'm sure she's still there.
So that's
mate.
from 2023.
Of course she is.
Yep.
Oh, it's the same 3
Who
songs.
else is it? Jog my memory.
Oh, well, you'll hear quite soon. This was maybe a more of a newer one they've introduced this year, but it might not have been the greatest week to do so because, 3 weeks in, you've heard all the songs. It's pointless. I don't want to vote for them anymore. And it also rides on the fact that you're winning at 3/4 time. For you, this to be a fun, enjoyable thing.
Yeah.
It's Carlton. We're probably not. We're miserable. Something's going to happen. Let's not start predicting that we're going to win. And so why, firstly, again, no one could be like, hey, maybe we don't do the karaoke this week. Maybe we just pull a pin. You'd think someone would be smart enough to have some damn awareness of what's going on. If you were to maybe pick a song, Lockie, not to play against Brisbane, when you're getting bashed by the Lions, that would have been worse, actually. The Lion King, Lockie. Let's play a song from the Lion King. Mate,
wait,
of the 1 week, the one, mate, just can't wait to be king. We have 1 week to not play a song from the Lion King. Don't make it this one. Of course, all the Brisbane fans voted for it. I'm sure they were having fun at 3/4 time singing this one.
Are you
Seriously.
joking?
I actually cannot stand the people at the club that have these jobs. Let's stop the sack Voss chant. Let's spray paint Icon and tell them to sack the people who are doing these awful decisions for the pre-game entertainment. It's horrific. No one wants the karaoke, Lockie. Also, I'm not condoning anyone do that, by the way. Just so I can have that before the cops come to me. But I just can't stand it, Lockie. Like, someone have some awareness in this football club, please. And the Lion King. No one thought, oh, maybe we shouldn't have that one this week. Just no awareness, no care. And look what happens. It's an absolute disaster, like everything else currently at this football club. But I've had my rant. We've been building this up for a few weeks now, Lockie.
Oh, come on.
The true launch of the Media Blue Torch segment, where right now, Carlton are bad. We know that. But the media love to jump on when things aren't going right. And they have some of the worst takes of all time. We've heard Jordan Lewis come out and say they need to trade Cripper. That's what they need to do. That'll fix that football club. The heart and soul captain. So this is our segment where we get to absolutely obliterate and just put the blue torch onto some of these journos and maybe some of the tactics that they're doing to have a bit more of a reasonable discussion on what they're up to hopefully get more level-headed on this podcast, but do it in a fun way. And Lockie, you promised me last week that you would have something spicy for me. You decided at the last minute to pull the pin. You promised me again that you would have something. I swear, if you don't have anything for me this week, this might be the end of the pod.
This is the first I've heard of this segment. What are you talking about? Yeah, look, okay. Caveat. When we pitched this segment to each other, I was absolutely just infuriated with the takes that I was hearing about Carlton from non-Carlton people. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard so little about Carlton since this one, even though everybody would have watched a little bit of this game on Thursday night. I think even every producer was like, literally don't know what to say anymore about Carlton. Let's just put a pin in it for a week. So it was a little hard to find things this week.
So you're telling me you don't have anything again?
I do have something.
And then you're blaming the media. You're blaming the media, which is maybe part of the blue torch for you not having any content for me.
I do have one. And I did have to go deep into an episode of something where Jared Healy and Cam Luke were discussing a burning question from every club. So I was like, okay, let's see what they are saying is the burning question. Let me play this for you. And I'm interested to see what you actually pick out of this as being what you think I'm most intrigued by, because there could be probably four things.
I got to say, before we jump to this, I've given you a lot of stick in this segment for not giving me anything. I'm giving you some kudos here. He's got it. If you had a sting, that almost would have taken the cake.
Yeah.
You've got a clip for me. Look at the production values of this. Oh,
the sting's coming next week. The sting will come next week. Put that on the record. But here we go. So let me hear what you think about this.
He's a young guy who's got this huge. He clearly doesn't want to go. He clearly doesn't want to go because he's playing like he doesn't want to go, but he's playing like he is going. He doesn't want to go. So whatever he's doing, he needs to. Someone needs to. Vossi needs to walk up to him and say, "Mate," like they did with Buddy Franklin. I think Jordan Lewis. We're not interested in whether you go or not. We just want you to play your best footy
and win the flag.
Walk out at the end of the year if, in fact, you decide to go. That's fine. We can deal with that then.
What is also hurting, and it's not necessarily anyone's fault, but Pittonet and the team, fine. De Koning having to play more forward because there's no Mackay. Michael Voss is just trying to search for any type of combination which can give them the oomph to end the year with players missing. And De Koning is better as a one-out ruckman.
Yeah, he is. But Carlton are better if De Koning plays well out of the forward line. I can't cop the he can't play forward nonsense. I've read it. I've seen it. I've heard it. Blokes have texted me that. No, I've seen him play forward, play him out of the goal square.
But is that when he pushes forward?
No, it's when he was a kid. When he was 19 and 20, he looked to me like he was going to be a
forward. Okay.
Young forward. So he hasn't forgotten how to play forward. All you got to do is put your hand up and run.
I'll take your word for it, Jared.
19-20. 19 and 20. Little bit of trivia, Ian. How many games AFL games had TDK played by the time he was 21?
Oh, he was a late bloomer. Had some injuries before he was 21. I'll go 5.
2 games. How many
Oh,
goals did he kick?
I'm going to go 0.
He did kick one. He did kick a goal on debut against
done.
the Bulldogs in 2018, towards the end of the season, one of our worst seasons ever. He also had 2 other set shots in that game, which didn't register a score. But maybe Jared was talking about the VFL. Maybe back then what he remembers about this forward craft was from the VFL. So I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt there. 2018, his first season in the VFL, played 13 games, 4 goals in those 13. And then 2019, when he was 20, 11 games played, another 4 goals. So that's 8 VFL goals in 24 games. I just love the end of that. The playing key forward isn't hard. Just
put your hand up and run,
up.
mate. All you've got to do. I can't wait for him to be a coach. This is incredible insight.
So I guess I wanted to just put that out there as how are you feeling about the TDK forward situation?
I guess the
What do you
last
take on
take,
that, Cliff?
I'm shocked. The last take I ever expected was to someone in the AFL media to come out and say, oh, TDK's not a ruckman. He is a key forward. We all know this. He's been a gun his whole career. Like, yeah, I'm aware he started his career as a forward. He was never that prolific ever. He definitely has never done it in the AFL.
No.
What are we talking about? He's a better forward than he is a ruckman. St Kilda aren't paying him $17 million to go down there and be the full forward. That is bizarre. And yeah, to top it off by saying, I mean, it's easy. Just stand there and run. How good is a key forward?
I think that's
Insane.
the undertone, or what Jared is, I feel like trying to say is, if TDK actually cared right now, he'd be kicking 5 a week in this forward line. Like, the whole reason that the forward line thing's not working is because he has checked out. It's like, yeah, maybe he has checked out, but that's not why. This is not his role, in my opinion.
It's like any time he's just changed, he's moving the goalpost pretty much. He's like, oh, should be a gun forward. Just play him in the forward line. They then play him in the forward line and he's bad. He's like, oh, well, it doesn't have to do with him in the forward line. He's not the problem. It's like, no, your initial thing is just incorrect. Give it up. And that's horrific. I love that from you, Lockie. That is a great start to the Blue Torch.
What do you got for me?
I've got about 17 things. The media has been big. And unfortunately, a lot of these have come from 2 fellas who, maybe unpopular opinion, I actually quite like, and I really love their podcast. So this isn't me necessarily going at them personally, but they've been doing a few things that I really dislike that journalists and people in the media do. On the Tradies podcast, Cleary and McClure were talking about like Carlton's salary cap, and that we need to trade out stars, or do we need to trade out stars? And they started talking about Adam Chera. They then both agreed that his salary is not actually that high. He's only on about maybe $700K. It's reasonable for what it is. And then 2 seconds later, Mitch Cleary's like, yeah, but, and in this tone as well, which always annoys me, because you're just making it so much worse, regardless of what you're actually saying. Just the tone makes it like that. He goes, oh, Geelong are only paying 4 players over $800K. Yes, Mitch. You just agreed that Chera isn't getting paid $800K, and now you're throwing in that and then just moving past it to make your whole narrative sound worse. Like, oh, well, I guess they are paying Chera over $800K because you just liken them to Geelong. It's like, what? And then 2 seconds after that, they did this fun thing that I love where journos love just throwing out a random, this player, to make their contract worth it for their value, they need to be finishing the top 5 in the BNF every year. Like, they just throw this out like it actually truly is a definitive quality that equals the contract status, yet it's never been truly agreed upon amongst everyone. And he said that about Cherry. He's like, oh, well, he has to be finishing top 5 in his best and fairest. And then they just move on. And then I went, hang on a minute. I feel like that's unfair because his impact maybe not, but he's probably top 5 in our best and fairest right now because everyone else has been horrific. Last year, I get it. He was injured, barely played. If you're wanting to use that as the argument, like he's not fit, not healthy, fine. Didn't make that argument. 2023 finished 4th, was probably going to win it until he got injured. Last 3 years, he's probably going to be top 5, 2 out of the 3, yet we're saying he's not worth this contract. And the fact they just go on and no one like picks them on this, I just can't stand when you throw these specific things in there to make your argument sound bigger, to make it sound worse, to pass this bad negative aura around the footy club, and then half of it just actually isn't true.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It just goes unchecked.
Yeah. And the contract discussion is, you know how much I hate talking about like specifics around figures and that kind of thing when it's not public information. Like we don't know, like you cannot make definitive statements about these things anyway. It's all sources. So
no,
wow, you've gone bang there.
I'll go them again if you want, because they also said something this week. I was holding that in for the last couple.
Okay.
They were going through this segment saying if a player was to be traded this year, what's their value around?
Yep, I heard this.
If a team takes on the entire of the contract, which can sway this a little bit, because if someone's not performing, they're on a big contract, means they're worth less. Even with that, I just want to get your takes. I thought this was actually insane. I could have used so many expletives because it actually makes me angry about the devaluing of Harry Mackay, who they said is worth pick 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Would you say that is a correct estimation given his long contract right now?
I hate to disagree with you when you're trying to make a big point, but it's very hard to know. Like, if you just look at his outputs, then no, that's crazy. He's worth more than that. But I do feel like there's a lot of baggage that goes with the Harry Mackay name right now.
I agree, which is why I would say he's worth pick 10. He's still a dominating key forward. I think any team would, if you ask pretty much every single team in this league, do you want Harry Mackay? They'd say yes. So
do you
I
think
he's
fans
worth a top
would
10
say
pick.
that?
I think most fans are idiots when it comes to Harry Mackay that watched one season of him not kick. The narrative came and they all think Harry Mackay is one of the worst footballers when he's played about 2 games this season and won us both of them. You ask the average footy fan what they think of Harry Mackay, they think he's awful. I reckon you ask every list manager, they would want him at their football club. And that's purely media narrative that has caused that. Now, my issue isn't necessarily that they've just said he's worth pick 15 and 16, and I disagree. Let's say it's pick 15 and 16. Let's compare that to a few other players, of which I think is actually insane.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you reckon Kyle Langford is worth?
Yeah, I remember them saying it was higher than him, right?
17 or 18.
Or 17 or 18.
Compared to a 15 or 16 for Harry Mackay. You reckon he's 2 picks different?
Yeah.
You are kidding yourself. And then Sean, I'm going to swear, Lockie, fucking Darcy, that big behemoth, the big shithouse. I'm sure he's a lovely fella, but he can barely move. He's held together by tape. What do you reckon he's worth on the open market? Again, 15 or 16 is what Harry Mackay's worth.
Remind me.
14 or 16. They would much rather throw all their money at a ruckman who can't move, who isn't any good anymore in the way the game is played, compared to a key forward. One of the hardest positions to get. Seriously, what are we doing? I love this show, fellas. I love the tradies, but that is some of the worst stuff I've ever heard in my life. And because of this, I got to give a quick shout out to the great Twitter account, Carlton Blues fan, who actually won the media for this week. I don't know if you saw this or heard about it, but
I did
so
not.
Ben Camporelli in our twos was given like a 4-week suspension. Not great, but I get it. That's fine. In the same game, this great human being, seriously, one of the greatest on Twitter, clips every part of every single game, AFL, VFL, does God's work.
Yeah.
Clipped a little bit of Dev Robertson literally throwing hands to a defenseless player on the ground. No suspension. He tweets it at Mitch Cleary. It blows up. Mitch Cleary says, nah, the AFL saw it. They said there's nothing in it. He's literally punching down at him. Luckily, there was no injury. And then the next day, because it blew up on Twitter, thanks to Carlton Blues fan, all of a sudden he's been suspended. So either the AFL literally saw it, didn't think it was worth anything, the media have changed their opinion, or, which is probably worse than what probably happened, they have not seen it, even though they have seen and cited another incident in this game. All of a sudden, the media have got onto it and they've suspended him, which to me just goes to show how much all of these suspensions seem to be so media driven that if the journos jump on it and say, oh, this has to be 6 weeks, they'll get 6 weeks. If they don't mention it, nothing will happen. I just thought that was insane, and I wanted to shout out Carlton Blues fan for their great work.
Yeah, that's a great one. I really do think it is probably the latter. Like in this instance, that it wasn't even looked at, I would guess. Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole episode on MRO and the suspensions and all that. That's an absolute mess.
It is. Now, I should probably save some of these, but I'm not going to.
I
think they're too good. This is my last one.
I'm going to lose some friends today.
Now, I didn't actually look to see who wrote this because I didn't want to name and shame. Like maybe I have some of the others. And I'm going to ask you the question. I want to get your take before I jump into this. So hopefully
here we go.
You're on my wavelength and you don't completely botch the setup to this. let's hope.
Insert me a clip of me agreeing. But yep, go ahead.
Lockie, what would be your unbiased, as best you can, opinion or narrative on Carlton if I was to talk about like recent finals appearances? Because you're talking about Carlton, they're not going to make finals this year, and you're trying to write in a little bit about our recent finals and making them or not making them. What would kind of be your take around that, and why this year's a bad miss?
And why this year's a bad miss? Okay.
Yeah, well, like what would you kind of be saying around that? Where do you kind of see our recent success or lack of success around making finals? What's your unbiased opinion on that?
Okay. Well, I'm worried that I'm not going to help your point here. So I was talking about this with someone this week, how if you want to potentially take a pessimistic look at the last few years, which is where my mind's starting to go, you could say that in 2023, it was a Cinderella story. And if you look back at that Melbourne game, you could very much make the argument that Melbourne should have won that game and they kicked their way out of it. And the Sydney game, we were also maybe another minute away from losing that game. And then last year, I mean, you and I were at the pub together watching Freo lose to make way for us. So we definitely couldn't have made, we very, very, very easily could have not made finals last year. And then we did, and it was a disaster. So honestly, I would say that if you take an unbiased view of things, us being really competitive this year maybe isn't such a foregone conclusion as I thought it might have been.
See, I actually don't mind that take because you've kind of acknowledged that, look, it maybe hasn't been perfect. We've probably underachieved from then, but we've made finals. We've been around it. You know, we missed out. We got in. We got to a prelim. We got in. It wasn't good. Now we've missed out. Okay. Would you have expected them to say, well, 2025 will be the 9th out of 11 seasons the Carlton haven't made finals?
Ah, interesting.
Which is not how I would have ever framed the conversation about it. And this kind of just like angers me. Instead of talking about what actually matters, because you could have had, and if you wanted a negative outlook, you just outlaid it perfectly. But it's just this, let's find the most amount of years to make this look as ridiculous, even though there was no expectation for so long for Carlton to make finals. Like, saying that is just insane.
That is funny.
You're basically being like, Voss needs to go because this is the 9th in 11 years. And you're like, well, hang on, he's only been here for a few and he actually got us in. Like, what is your argument? So I saw that and almost spat out my coffee this morning. I just thought it was the most insane thing that I was just not expecting to read.
Yeah, we're not going to forget about 2014 to 2022 for a long time, as long as those numbers, are fitting that narrative. That is funny.
Keep going back until the numbers look how I want them to look, Lockie. It's bizarre. But let's move towards the future. The D's game. Now, I know we've been really bad, and you're more optimistic than me.
Yeah.
But this does, I know we lost to North, and we're not playing good footy, but this does feel like a winnable game as far as a team kind of around our level, where they've been inconsistent. How are you feeling going into this? Brisbane, you would have been assuming, look, we're probably going to lose that. They're really good. Are you confident at all? I'm kind of intrigued to get a bit of a vibe check.
Oh, I mean, I think I talked about this last week. The word confident, let's put that word away for the rest of this year. I'm not confident of anything that's going to happen, but I definitely think we can win. Of course we can. There's a good team somewhere here. I still believe that.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it plays out. Again, not confident. Don't think it will happen, but a lot more confident on this than the last couple of weeks. And
yeah,
they are gettable, but they've definitely played a lot better more recently. Where are you kind of seeing your team changes for this week as well? Is that somewhere you can see us getting the upper hand by finally fixing this squad? What are you kind of looking at?
That's it. That's an interesting way you frame that, actually. No, I don't think so. I don't think that we are going to win this game on selection. I think it's going to come so much more down to the effort, obviously, bottom line, and then evolving the strategy of what we're actually trying to do as a team. Yeah. Oh, good job. I really like the way that you framed that, Ian, because that's kind of made me realize that although there's so many different ways that you could select this team right now, my personal opinion is I don't think it will actually make that much difference to this outcome.
I completely agree. I completely agree with you, though. My issue isn't as much with this list, and I know they're making mistakes, but I've said it 1,000 times. I go back to the structure when they win the football. How are we looking to move it? How are we looking to defend? And you can talk about the effort. You can talk about that being a player issue. I don't know. My head goes to, if you're doing the same thing every single week and it's not working, can you still give 100% when you're being told to do something you disagree with? Like, think about the amount of times in work or your life where you're being told to do something you know won't work. You're probably not going to go that extra mile for 4 quarters of competitive footy. So it's not all on these players. And as far as bringing guys in, like what Saad's available this week, I don't think that's going to make that big of a difference, even if he does play. Does Akers come back in off a break? Just none of it really excites me. So I'm very intrigued to know what kind of changes you'd like to make this week, because we lose McGovern, we lose Fantasia. Would you be looking to make any other alterations?
Yeah, I think Doherty, I mean, we say it every week. I sadly just don't think that there's a place for him right now. So add Lucas Camporelli into the mix of players that I would love to just see come in and play out the rest of the season. I think Pommy was talking about this on one of the Blue Abroad shows, and I just so wholeheartedly agree that someone like Doherty putting in substandard performances, like, what's the harm in a young player also putting in like how is anyone that we bring in to try and do that role going to do worse? Like, if I mean, this is a broader discussion again, but if the two people that seemingly are the most under pressure right now, Voss and Brad Lloyd, for like their jobs, seemingly from the outside. Both of them are probably thinking win at all costs. Like we just need to be winning or else we're going to be gone. Like we don't want to be too strategic. So that feels like why you would want to have leaders like Doc, but how can you actually be getting worse than what we're getting out of that role? Not sure if you agree with that.
I do. It's weird. Like he's in for the leadership, but you're not getting the leadership. You're
Doesn't
getting a
feel
lot
like
of mistakes. There's some good. There's a lot bad. It feels like such an easy position and a role to plug in a kid as well. I know you look at that back line with Farrell, Cowan, Carroll. Like there are a fair few kind of inexperienced players around there.
Yeah.
You move Doherty up to a wing, those kind of positions again. I don't think you're losing that much as far as the floor of what you're getting. And like you're alluding to, the positive for development, well, you're not getting more out of Doc. So what you're getting him for the now, and the now's not good.
Yeah. So what's
make the change. Yeah, I think, and at the moment, I know it won't happen because I think they must hate him for some reason. I don't know what he's done, but I would bring in a Jordan Boyd for the sake of, you could maybe throw Billy Wilson into this. I think it's maybe a little too young and experienced, but Jordan Boyd, what is he? I haven't seen him in so long. Let me see 3 weeks of Jordan Boyd. So I don't know, maybe we get to the season and we know whether he's a player that should be on this list or not.
Yeah.
He's a good kick. We don't have a lot of good ball users. That's something that Doherty's not doing great right now. Surely there's an upside in trying that right now.
Yeah.
Would you prefer a guy like Boyd, or would you prefer more of like a Billy Wilson?
No, I agree with you. I think having Wilson in this backline would be probably a step too far in the inexperienced direction. So Boyd or Sard for me. I'd be bringing one of those guys in for Doc. Because it's interesting. Like this is why I said about the selection thing. Like you could sell me on anything right now. I'm not wedded to these at all, but I think it makes sense to bring Akers in. Like, God, I've just got Matt Carroll's thing in my head, like the second holding the ball. And like, at least with Akers, you know that if you're kicking to him in a one-on-one contest, he's gonna, like, he could take that mark, or he's gonna fight for that there, like as that kind of like outlet winger. So I'd probably be bringing him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no to him and Sard. Maybe I'm just become very, very grumpy, but the senior players aren't playing well, and I think you could probably get a bit more out of a Lucas Camporelli playing on that wing for now with Ollie Hollins on the other. I just feel like he's put in some good form, and Blake Acres right now is just really frustrating me with what he does. So I'd rather see a kid. Like a lot of these, I know won't happen because Vossi's coaching for his career, but the things that I would like to see that would make me excited to go to the footy would be seeing Lucas on the wing. So he's the guy I would bring in. And then even more to that point, like I know he hasn't been playing great football, but I'd really be looking right now to like have Cripps play forward and let Cooper Lord have a game in the midfield. Maybe he's not ready, but I would like to see that. I would like to see Binns get another opportunity, playing probably more of a high half forward role, a bit more of a connector role, particularly with the Fantasia not there. He seems to be that more attacking player. We saw it against St. Kilda. He liked to get things going for us. That's probably where I'd be looking with trying to replace Fantasia, who's been one of those more productive players for us. Yeah.
And then this one is the most complicated of all, but like whatever's going on with TDK at the moment makes selection really hard. Like we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, do they know that he's leaving, but you still want to play him because he's clearly a better player than O'Keefe and Lemmy. But if we're thinking about the future, don't you want to put someone there that's an actual forward and that we want to develop? So I've got question marks next to that at the moment. I don't know if you feel passionately about that.
Passionately is maybe not the right word, but I've gone to the point where I just want to see Harry Lemmy it looks like he's probably gone at the end of this year and won't get that opportunity.
You think so? Yeah.
Well, we haven't played him. We've had ample opportunities
true.
in his career to bet
3
him
years.
in or give him a bit of a taste. That out of contract, that I just assume he's gone then because we just don't see it. And this feels like with McGovern out, forward line not functioning, us continually throwing Ruckman into the forward line. Or maybe we just heard from one of the greats saying that De Koning's been a forward all along. Maybe I'm incorrect. But I think I'd prefer a proper tall target in that goal square for Charlie Curnow. And to not hang him out to dry, that's where I'd like to play a Paddy Cripps in that forward line as well. Stop him, Hewitt, and Chera being that midfield mix and allow a guy like Williams, a guy like Cooper Lord to go and run through there. Screw it. Jesse Motlop can get a run. Ollie Hollins maybe gets a center bounce. Just try something different. Get some dynamism around the ball. And we've seen Paddy Cripps play really well as a forward. Maybe that gives him a bit of confidence. I just feel like we could be pulling some other levers here. And I don't know. I just, again, for me, in my head, the season's done. So I want to just see things that excite me or I can learn something. And Harry Lemmy is a big learn. I either see, he doesn't have it. I understand why you've been playing him just in the VFL, but it's hard to know. His form's been good the last month or so. Feels like the perfect time to reward that. And then rudely, because I don't want to drop him, because I want to get him to 100 games so he becomes father-son, his kid becomes father-son eligible, if that happens. I'm having De Koning as the sub. He's had one time at the sub, came on, was almost best on ground. So maybe this is what he needs, to genuinely just sit there with the tracksuit on and say, Tommy boy, you want the money, you want to play, sit down for a bit. Let you stew in that, just having to sit there and watch it. Does that let him step out and play better footy, or is he just going to sulk? Either way, then I get him sulking on the bench as the sub rather than sulking on field, not giving me anything right now.
Wow.
And I get him to 100. So it's a win. Right now, I am in 100%. You're my starting sub every single week for the end of the season.
Oh, I need to digest that. I mean, I don't know what your current stance is on him. So do you believe that he's made his decision and he's going? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I can't see him staying. And it's nothing against him. Like, I love him. He's given a bunch to us. Unreal. Genuinely, this isn't like, I hate you now. It's more just like your form is actually really bad. So I would probably drop you on form, regardless of if you... He could be signed to us right now for 10 years, and I would still be saying, his form's horrific. We need to drop him.
Yeah.
It's just that now I want to get him to 100 games, and I think it's honestly quite funny to make him the sub. And again, this is my team trying to give me enjoyment, and it makes me giggle having him on the sub. So that's kind of where I'd have him right now. They've ruined my brain, and this is what I'm doing for fun now.
I love it. The media narratives out of that would be absolutely hilarious. I would. But
is that something that could spark him? Because he's had his best performance as the sub. Maybe this is what we need. He'll be on by the first quarter anyway. So, it really doesn't matter who that sub is. They're playing. We'll get an injury.
Yeah, probably. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Bring it on, huh? We'll win.
And then the only other player I would drop, because people might be thinking that's too many on the field. Cooper Lord's been elevated, and I would drop Lockie Fogarty. I just don't think we're getting enough from him. And I like this excitement of Motlop, Durden, Moya, Flynn Young, who actually looked okay. He's definitely needs to get to the pace of AFL. A few times he's getting caught and he just doesn't have that much time to make a decision. But again, trying to get things going, very positive in what we're seeing. And you can tell he probably is not ready right now, but I think there's enough positive signs from him and a few of these other youngsters.
Agreed. I'd persist there as well.
Well, are you feeling any more positive once we've come to the conclusion of this episode? Or are you feeling a bit more delusional like I am? I feel like every week we come on here, I don't know if we're going to have anything to talk about. We talk for about 2 hours. and I'm weirdly feeling kind of happy, but I don't know if that's about the team.
Yeah. It's such a weird place that we're in. I definitely think we can win. I want to get some joy out of this game. Yeah, and I think we will. I think we will. I think we will win this game. We're gonna get some joy, and we're gonna be bouncing into next week's podcast. And you're gonna make like 20 more enemies in the Blue Torch. So I'm excited for that too.
Oh, absolutely. But that is going to wrap up this week's episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll be back next week after our first win in what feels like 10 years against the D's, because we always find a way, whether we deserve it or not, to beat Melbourne. And I hope it happens in the grubbiest way again, just to keep this theme going. Where's Caleb Marchbank when you need him to not touch it? But it counts as a behind. That's what I'm looking for again, Lockie. But that's going to be us. Up the bloody baggers. See you guys next time.